बोल भाई बोल.
अरे यार मी विसरलो. Today we have with us Suyash Dongre. He has done an internship at Citibank. He has cracked GSoC twice in 2025 and 2024. So Suyash, first of all, welcome to my YouTube channel and congratulations on all your achievements.
Thank you यश. मस्त.
झालं. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we have with us Suyash Dongre. He is final year computer engineering student at Vishwakarma Institute of Technology. He has recently done an internship at Citibank and he has cracked GSoC twice in 2025 and 2024. So Suyash, first of all, congratulations on your achievements.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So could you tell us about GSoC? What is it and what's its duration and everything in nutshell?
Sure. So basically, for those who don't know, GSoC is Google Summer of Code. It is a open source program which is organized by Google to encourage developers to get into the open source world. So it is basically to get real world hands-on experience on the products which already exist, and the source code is just openly available to everybody so that they can contribute in some way or another. So this is just a program to give us a head start, and just students and other people who don't know much about open source to understand this. So it's been 21 years since Google has been doing this consistently, and I was fortunate enough to be a part for 2 years. So it is basic. It is a 8 to 22 weeks durations program. So the Google assigns you. There are various organizations which are available, and under which there are various projects. So it can vary from 8 to 22 weeks. And the best part is you get paid very heavily as well. So it is a project basis also. So the smallest project pays you $750, so which is roughly 75,000 rupees, and the largest project gives you $3,000, so 2.5 lakhs something. So I got medium project twice. So my stipend was about 1.3 lakhs, like for two projects for each year. So that is what is GSoC, the stipend it pays, and the basic overview of what exactly GSoC is.
Great. Now, talking about the entire process that is associated with GSoC. So, could you just tell us about it? What is the entire process that goes and how you interact in GSoC and everything?
Yeah, exactly. So, as I mentioned, Google allots and selects various organizations which would be eligible to create projects. So, organizations are basically like companies which have various projects they want to try on. These are mostly POCs that you will work on. POC is basically proof of concept. So, it is just something the company wants to try, and you will sort of be like interning under them. So we can call GSoC as an internship also, but it is not frequently called like that. Either way, so when Google selects organizations, it will present you with various projects. So the process starts officially in the month of Feb, March, and April. So these are the highest peak hours in which you must get in contact with the organization, or basically the company you want to work with. So there are tons of companies which are available. You can choose, and various domains also are included. Like you can work with Linux, and you can work with the Chromium, which is officially the Google's part. DeepMind is also there. So there are tons and tons of variety and organization which you can choose among from. So the process, personally, I started back in October. So the official GSoC development period starts in the month of May, and I started way back in the month of October. So I had a very big head start. So the process for it is a very streamlined process, and I approached it very strategically. So the first thing I did was picking the right organization. So it is the first hurdle that you will face when you'll get into like when you will start preparing for GSoC. So the biggest hurdle is कौन सी organization choose करो, because there are more than 150 organization, and for each organization there are 4 to 5 projects. So there are tons of projects. So कौन सा choose करना है? So what I did is I wanted to get into GSoC at any cost. So that's why I approached the organization based on the difficulty they have. So I browsed each and every organization. I sorted them based on the difficulty. So the highest, the hardest, the most difficult organization that I found, and which were aligned with my interest, I just jotted down them in the list. Then all those organizations were sorted based on the difficulty that they possess. Later, uh, I selected the four top organizations like which I want to work in, because I had a list of 10 to 12 organizations, and we cannot work with all of them. You don't have enough time to work with all the organizations which are there in the GSoC. So you have to shortlist top three organizations. So among that 10 organization list, my organization was on the top. But why was it on the top? For each organization in the list, what I did was I iterated them one by one. So based on the difficulty it had. So my organization for which I was selected for was not in the first place earlier. It later moved on to first place. And the reason it moved on was because as I was going through each and every organization and trying things, like trying to do all the setup, because you don't have any direct guidance, because in real world industry there would be a mentor allotted to you who would give you all the guidance, who will help you with any setup. But in this case, since it is open source and you are not directly a part of their company or organization, there's no such a dedicated person available to help you. So setting up the entire thing takes a lot of time, and understanding the all the organization, how the organization exactly works, what is the code base, how the flow process flows, because everything varies from organizations to organization. The meetings vary, the platforms vary, where do they communicate, the way of communication varies. So this is different for each organization, and it gets really overwhelming at first. So as I was iterating through each and every organization, I tried all this method, like to understand how it works, what is the purpose, setting up it locally. And the organization which I found success with setting all these things up and finding the most information out of all the other organization, I rearranged the list in that way. So there were two organizations which I was able to get good progress with. One was CEF, in which I was selected. The second was VLC, so the media play that you might be aware about. I got a little bit of success in that as well, because I was able to set it up locally as well. So then most of your time would go in the setting up process, getting to know all the people in the organization and all. So once you have shortlisted the organization, once you have picked the organization in which you are going to work on, then just double down on the work you will put in. So what does this mean? So for example, let's take my case itself. I had chosen one organization. Then what I did was, whenever the first the organizations are announced and later the projects are announced, so you're not aware about the projects, what you will be working or what this year's projects are going to be. So in around February to March period, in February the organizations are announced, in March the actual projects are announced, what all work can be done. And the project size will obviously vary from small to large, so that is a different thing. So once the projects were announced, what I did was I immediately contacted the mentor who would be like mentoring that project. So for GSoC, you will be given with a mentor. So as I mentioned, I got in contact with my mentor. So once I got in contact with the mentor, you have to remember few things. So when the projects are announced, before that, there is a very crucial period, which is the October. Like for my case, it was from October till the project's dates were announced. Because up until then, you don't know anything about the project. So what can you do to make your presence? What can you do to make you stand out? So this is exactly what this buffer period is present for. So during October to February, March, my main goal was to find and resolve issues. So that is how I created a presence. So I followed two things. First thing I followed was that for each and every organization that is present, for any organization that you will consider, there are various issues which are obviously there are various issues which are involved in the code base, and for this each and every issues it is present in a tracker. So all the organization use some sort of tracking mechanism to keep a track of all the issues in the existence of that code base. So I browsed the issues and I started solving the issues with the least priority. Those issues which will, when solved, will create some sort of an impact. So, which will eventually create my profile that I have solved these issues. So, that is one thing that you have to keep in mind to contribute to the organization from an early hand itself. And the second thing that I will mention is standards. So, what exactly are standards? So, organization is basically a company. It is no different than a private company which operates. So, it is just open source, so anybody can join. That is the only difference with GSoC organization and any other organization that exists in the corporate world. So, stand ups are basically meetings where you share your progress, what you have done so far, any doubts you might have, or you want to tag somebody to request somebody's help. So these are why stand-ups are necessary for, and it is crucially important, like it is very crucial that you attend these stand-ups. So for our case, we had daily stand-ups. So I joined those stand-ups. I informed them about the progress I was making, the issues I was solving, etc. So it what it did was help me establish my presence in the organization. It is very important that the peers that you have and the mentors that you will have are aware about who you are, because what mistake the other people do is they'll make an excellent proposal. We'll talk about proposal soon. They make an excellent proposal, they'll contribute very heavily in the organization, but they still do not get selected. It is because the peers, the mentors are not aware about their existence itself. So the importance of your presence in the organization is equally to that of a good proposal. So during the October to till the date the projects were announced, my main goal was to resolve issues, let others know about what I am working on, then just get in contact with them, discuss what future endeavors this company is heading into, etc. So just consider yourself as a part of the team and just work on the organization. But one thing you have to also remember is do not work on documentation issues or any task which isn't that valuable to the company. Documentation task is not really impactful when comes to the on paper part. So actual code changes, which will be very helpful, even if it is very small code change, it is still an impact. So it improves the code by even slightly, then it is a good impact. Documentation changes doesn't directly impact the code. It will help in the future, but it is not really that good of a contribution. So avoid documentation changes. You can help build your presence using this in the early on stages, but but you must have to switch to code based changes. So this is what I did during the period of October to the date the projects were announced. Then when the projects were finally announced, as I mentioned, I was in contact with the mentor. What helped me stand out was that when the projects are announced and the actual proposal deadline hits, you have a buffer duration of 1 to almost 2 months. So during that duration, you have to create a proposal. So proposal is basically a technical document which will explain how you will solve that project, what you will be doing it in that project, what technologies would be using, how will it be used, how will it work with other parts of the organization, etc. So it is a very technical document
which I will share you with guys so you can refer it. And it is the deciding factor whether you will be selected or not. So during that buffer period, what I did was, since I was already aware about the organization, since I was already aware about how the organization works, how the code base works, when the projects were announced, there will be 3 to max 5 projects per organization. I followed the same approach that I followed for choosing the and shortlisting the organization. So you can submit up to 3 projects throughout, like for that particular GSoC year. It can be from the same organization or for different organization itself. So I was only focusing on one organization at that time because I had doubled down on it and I wanted to get selected at no matter what the cost is. So I followed the same approach for shortlisting the organization. I first arranged it based on difficulty. I chose the largest project first, of course, because it has the biggest stipend amount, and it was a bit interesting as well. But since I was a second year student, I did not have much experience in proper industry standard code, you can say. So I dropped the large project and opted for a medium sized project. And through various like guidance and work, I was able to get good progress in that particular project. In fact, the progress was so good that I completed the entire project even before I was selected. So that is what helped me stand out. During that 2 months buffer period, I completed the entire project even before I was selected. I did not have any guarantee that I would be selected, but I still shot the arrow. So, and it landed on the bullseye. So, I that project, I was in contact with the mentor. So, I was just discussing what must be done, and I kept on working on it, kept on working on it until eventually the project was entirely completed. This helped me stand out because others were still creating the proposal, whereas I was already done with it. And the best thing was the mentor was also aware about all the things that I've worked on. So if I wasn't in contact with the mentor, he would have never known that I this project was done. So this is a point just I'm repeating over here, that you must be in contact with other peers as well. Then came the proposal drafting stages. So since I since the project was done, I just mentioned what will be done, how it was done, and how would the entire thing work, and what is the future scope and all. So during the drafting stages, all these things were listed. So you can check on the first page. Let's talk about proposal now. On the first page, you just have to mention basic information such as who are you, what you have done in the past, what is the abstract of that project, why, how will the project benefit the community, etc. So this is just basic information. On the second page, after your introduction, you have to list your past contributions to that organization, and it is very recommended you must have past contributions to that organization, but because it will help you stand out. So the contributions I made during the month of October to Feb March, I listed those contributions in that in a table, and I just linked all the GitHub pull request links. Then you have to. Then I started with the project breakdown. On the second page number, you can check that I started with how the project would be done. And for the entire document, I just explain how the project has been done, what all technical things I have done. In the last 3 pages, you have to mention about the project timeline. So this is a timeline. It wasn't relevant to me, but either way, you have to mention the project timeline of what you will be doing on a weekly basis. For each week, you will have a specific goal that you will work on, and you have to mention this for the entire 12 weeks or however long the project would be. So you have to, by default, do it for 12 weeks because you are not really sure whether the project would be extended or not. So for a 12-week basis, you have to enter all the details of what you will be doing. So the last 3 pages are that itself. And in the end, you have to add a section of why me, because why should you be selected from other people, because the competition is very tough. You have all the students from tier 1 colleges, all from IITs, BITS, etc. So you have to stand out really. In that section, you can add why you should be selected. And once you have drafted a rough proposal, you can start sending it to all the other peers, all the reviewers who are there, to document, because in organization there are document admins as well who take care of all the documentation of that organizations. So you can contact them. I did that and ask them for any suggestions to be made in that document. So it helped a lot because they too got aware about my existence, that I am opting for GSoC, that I will be a participant this year. So in the meeting as well, they might say my name. They might encourage the mentors to select me just because they're aware about me. So as I mentioned, I sent my proposal, draft proposal, to all the peers that I had, and I just asked them for it, and it helped a lot because they suggested me what to add and what not to add in the proposal itself. So this is how I drafted my proposal and completed. For my case, my proposal was just a formality because I since the project was already done, this proposal was just a formal process that had to be done. I was not really sure that whether I would be selected or not. I did not have my hopes high. I just kept on working on it because after all, some might done the same thing and might have done it even better. So I did not got attached to the result, but I made sure that to give it all, and I kept working. So on 31st of or 30th April, something like that, I submitted the proposal and just waited for the results. And on 1st of May, the results were declared that, yeah, I was selected for GSoC. And after that, since the project was done, we just worked on the bigger scope of the project. We just added on things and kept working on it. So it was a good success. And that is the entire GSoC process, how I approached it, what I did, what is a proposal, and it was quite fun experience.
Great, great, great. Excellent, excellent. Now, Suyash, since you shared your entire journey at GSoC, I would like to ask you one advice or one lesson that you learned and you would like to share to our viewers that you think helped you throughout your journey.
Okay, so one lesson that I can think of is, it might sound cliche, but you really have to win very early on in your mind. So during May 2023, when GSoC, I got to know about GSoC, what exactly is. That time itself, like I noted to myself that कि नहीं 2024 मेरा होगा. So I kept that in mind, and I built a mindset early on that I'm going to do everything that I've got. I'm going to give everything that I've got to get the 2024 GSoC, and it helped a lot. It, even though it sounds cliche, but it is very important that you win early on in your mind itself, because it is what you will push you when things get tough, and things when you will face a wall. It is what will help you climb that wall. So it really helped a lot, and it is very helpful in general in terms of life aspect itself. It will help you throughout the life, not only for GSoC, but if you start winning early on in mind itself, then things will get easy. And one thing you do have to be cautious about is to not get attached with the results, because obviously not always you will get what you want, but it will help you push you further to maximize the chances of winning. So I suggest this thing.
Yeah, great, great. And guys, just to let you know, Suyash is one of the most hardworking people I've seen because we were roommates during internship at City as well, and I have seen how hard he works. So, Suyash, everything that you have achieved, you truly deserve it.
Thank you so much, Yash. And thank you so much, Yash,
Yeah.
for invite.
So, thank you for connecting with us.
And I'll thank you once again for inviting me to your podcast. Like, it is a very big honor for me, and I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Sure, sure. Thank you, and we will connect again
Definitely,
for lot more achievements that you have
definitely,
achieved.
definitely.
So, let's
Yes,
see. Thank you, Suyash, for
Thank
connecting with
you.
us.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.